So when I'm promoting a launch, somebody's launch, and the launch is happening over, let's say, 15 days, okay? So most of the affiliates are going to send out 3 emails over that 15 days, solo emails, three solo emails. I'm going to send out 15 emails, okay? Every single day I'm going to promote that. Not just that, but that will be there. And so we've also heard the idea that people need to see an offer, 7 to 12 times or 5 to 8 times, whatever the number is. People need to see it over and over again. So on leaderboards, when I'm promoting as an affiliate, I start low, and then it goes up and up and up and up over that period of time because I keep on promoting it again and again and again. And I end up doing better than people with lists that are much larger than mine. So that's not everybody's concern. Not everybody is doing affiliate marketing, but it is proof that those emails do work.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is the Creative Collaboration Show with Chuck Anderson. I have another amazing guest for you today. We know that in our audience, you're likely a business owner on a big mission, trying to get the word out there. And that's a big challenge for us is getting the word out there. And how do we do that? And our guest today is a master at that and is going to talk about get how she gets the word out there and helps others as well. So please welcome Ellen Finkelstein to the program today.
Chuck, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I know that we've been looking forward to doing this for a while. So I'm glad that the universe is finally aligned and here we are. So Ellen, I think a great place to start is, tell everybody a little bit about what you do. And I think we'll start with that.
So the clients that I help are usually, they could be coaches or consultants or other service providers. They could even just be experts in some field and they want to get their knowledge out to the world. And examples of other service providers could be financial advisors or alternative health care practitioners. And I'm helping them now supplement their current promotional activities with email marketing. And email marketing kind of has a little bit of a bad rap, and so I'm trying to change that. Now, these people are usually using referrals. I call this the triumvirate of service providers: referrals, networking, and social media prospecting. And first of all, while these methods can be successful, they can be uneven. And a lot of my clients don't like doing this stuff. They don't like that kind of selling of it. And so what I'm trying to convince people is that by adding email marketing to what they're doing, they can do something that they can educate and inspire their subscribers over time. And when they're ready to buy, they'll buy because there's been this long-term relationship built up. The trust has been built up. The knowledge through the education has been built up. And so email marketing is actually extraordinarily time effective and cost effective.
And probably ever changing as well, but absolutely vital and necessary for businesses. And so we definitely want to dive into that today. But before we do, Ellen, how did you? What's your story? How did you find yourself in this space and helping people with their email marketing?
It's kind of a long story. I started out as a book writer. You can see behind me, I wrote computer books. That AutoCAD book on the top shelf went into 17 editions, ended up being 1,297 pages or something like that. Wow. Books on PowerPoint as well. And at that time, it was just starting this idea that authors should have a platform. So I created a website and I created an email list and I started blogging. And then I realized that I could write my own books and sell them off my website as PDFs, ebooks, the simplest level of an ebook. And instead of getting, like for that top book, the wholesale price, well, the retail price was $30 to $50. So let's say 30, and the wholesale was $1.50, and I got 10% of that. So $1.50 a book. Now it sold thousands of copies, and that plus my PowerPoint books, plus a Flash for Dummies book, paid the down payment on my house. So I'm not arguing, I'm not against it, but I discovered I could sell an ebook for $20 and keep $19 of it. And so that's how I started getting online. And then I started teaching other people to do it, started Change the World marketing, and started email marketing seriously. And a few years ago, I came upon a sort of like a formula that was very counter against what the gurus say, let's put it that way. And to just put it in like a word, against the idea that you can only have one call to action in an email. And I found that it was like amazingly effective. And so I became known for this. And that's what I'm starting to teach now, this formula that I have for getting better results from your emails.
Oh, fantastic. Well, first of all, AutoCAD, a 1,200 page book on AutoCAD. That is amazing. How long did it take you to write that?
Well, the first one took me 10 months, but AutoCAD upgraded it. They put out a new edition every year. So that was 3 months every year for 16, 17 years, whatever it was. AutoCAD's it started at 800 pages and then just kept on growing. And it's, it was a $4,000 program then. I don't know what it is now. It's a complicated program, a drafting program for architects or engineers, someone like that.
Well, I never read the book. I probably should have. I was just trying to learn AutoCAD by clicking on things, and
that's hard.
You can't really do that. But that was back in the 90s. I'm far removed from that now, but I just was fascinated by that was one of your books. So now you start selling you're realizing you can sell your books directly as PDFs and keep the majority of the money instead of just getting this fraction little bit of the commission or the royalties. What were some of the lessons that you learned from doing that, and also related to how that got you into what you're doing now with email marketing?
It's always a writer. So my first experience was writing an ebook, creating an ebook and writing it in Microsoft Word and turning it into a PDF was really easy. I knew this stuff really, really well. The knowledge was there. And I did something on AutoCAD. I did something on PowerPoint. That was really what I was focusing on. And now I don't do anything with AutoCAD at all. And so I found that it was really easy to do. And compared to the demands of the publisher in terms of time, and it wasn't only the money, the deadlines and all the requirements, I just found that it was really easy. And I do remember having to figure out how to sell something from my website, how to put up a buy now button and how to make that work, and I've gone through so many email service providers, I can't even count them anymore, but learning about email. And another thing that I certainly did a lot that worked for me, especially in those areas, PowerPoint and AutoCAD, was blogging a lot, because it was an area where people really needed the content that I had. It was because it was so technical. And so that brought people to my website, and that brought people to sign up for my email list. So that's really how it all started.
And that's how I first learned about you as well. I was in a conversation with somebody else, and they said, are you on Ellen Finkelstein's newsletter? And I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, you have to get on there. She has some of the best content I've ever seen. So that's how I came to hear of you the first time. And then of course now we're in a mastermind group together, and now, been on your podcast, and now you're on my podcast. So this amazing relationship, but it all started with not just an email, but somebody else who had been receiving your email. I wasn't even the recipient of your email, and it is reaching people that way.
Well,
so thank
you to that person.
Well, and I think it speaks volumes in terms of just two things. Number one, your approach and the quality of your content, but also the power of an email, how it can reach somebody, but it has this ripple effect that can reach even more people than just the people that you sent it to. And, I hear this all the time, like, oh, my list size is this, and my open rate is this, and all that kind of stuff. But who are you really reaching? And there's sometimes the people we don't even realize that we're reaching. So
that's true.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of your recommendations or tips and that you are recommending for people? Like, so if they're, engaged in email, and you hear this kind of thing all the time, it's like, oh, email's dead, and there's all these issues with email, and people are trying out other platforms and social media. But I know in my business, nothing converts better when I'm trying to sell something than an email. I wonder if you could speak to that a little bit, and what do you recommend for people?
Well, there's certainly a lot of research that shows that the ROI on email is like higher than anything else, like way higher. And part of the reason, first of all, there's a return on your investment. There's the money that comes in, and there's also how much it costs. So email is cheap. That's one reason that's a high return on income. But the point is that if you do it correctly, first of all, you own your subscribers. This is something that you own. And just a couple of days ago, I heard another person say that he had lost his Facebook account. And so that's, it brings surety into your business. But the value of it is that you create this long-term relationship with people. Now, I email people every day. I email my list every day. Not everybody does that. I don't recommend it for everybody or think everybody has to do that. But over time, they really get to know me. And so there's a relationship created that's ongoing with these people. And so a few things I recommend in emails. I recommend telling stories, starting with telling a story, having some personal thing. I recommend always being relevant to your subscribers, knowing what they want. And so I always connect my story, even if it's just about me, to something that's valuable to them, that's useful for them, to help them grow their business. I recommend partnering with people. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And I recommend making your emails easy to read. I do a lot of work on having spacing in it and just making it easy for people, because I send out long emails with multiple offers, and I have to make it easy for people to see what there is without having to read the whole email, which that they're not going to do. So I just lots of little techniques like that.
Yeah.
That's my formula.
That sounds like a good formula to me. And well, I mean, I get emails from people sometimes where they're either way too long and they're hard to read. So I like what you just said there about, having, the multiple things, but being able to see that. Also having some space between the lines so you can kind of read it. Sometimes you get especially if you're reading it on mobile, if you get a block of text that's way too big, it's very, very difficult to follow it sometimes. Are there any other mistakes that you're seeing people do that are kind of negatively impacting their email marketing?
I want to talk about the one click to action theory, or whatever it is, because there is research that has shown that offering people more than one thing in an email gives people what's called agency, gives them choice. They can choose what they want. And so we've all been on people's lists who only send out solo emails, which means one call to action in an email. And after a while, we recognize that, and we just look at the subject line, and if it's not what we want, we don't read it. And the most amazing thing happened to me was when somebody emailed me and said, "I love your emails. You give us so many resources." And I went, "Oh my God, I'm selling so many things in my email. Everything is an offer. Sometimes it's a free offer, but sometimes I'm selling things, whatever it is. But I'm definitely promoting." And yet they see it as resources. And I've seen this since that first time over and over and over again, that giving people choice, making sure your email is relevant to them and letting them choose what they want. People feel like you're giving them resources, and yet you are promoting things that, very often partners I'm promoting. Of course, I promote my own things as well. And so it's just such a different way of looking at it. This research was from a company that split test its emails with not subject lines, but two completely different emails over a period of time. One was one call to action, the other was multiple call to actions. And it was so clear that they got fewer unsubscribes and more clicks overall when you gave people the choice.
I really love that you brought that up. And am guilty. I'm one of those people who have taught the single call to action formula thousands of times. And when I was with Internet Marketing Center, that was our go-to recommendation. And we were coaching people how to set up their emails and how to write good converting email copy. It's like have a single call to action with a domain link and the domain name that matches the domain that you're sending from and all of these things. And with the podcast, we actually don't do that. We actually say, like, here's our recent episode and here's our last 3 episodes, and we do see higher engagement with that one. It didn't really occur to me until just now. I just thought because podcast is different, but what you're saying is actually giving people choice, and therefore they're enjoying it. And you're receiving feedback then saying, hey, thanks, this is very valuable. So I love that.
There's another way to look at it too. So when I'm promoting a launch, somebody's launch, and the launch is happening over, let's say, 15 days. Okay. So most of the affiliates are going to send out 3 emails over that 15 days, solo emails, three solo emails. I'm going to send out 15 emails. Okay. Every single day I'm going to promote that, not just that, but that will be there. And so we've also heard the idea that people need to see an offer, 7 to 12 times or 5 to 8 times, whatever the number is. People need to see it over and over again. So on leaderboards, when I'm promoting as an affiliate, I start low, and then it goes up and up and up and up over that period of time because I keep on promoting it again and again and again. And I end up doing better than people with lists that are much larger than mine. So that's not everybody's concern. Not everybody is doing affiliate marketing, but it is proof that those emails do work.
And do you do solo emails for some of your affiliate campaigns as well? Or is it all like, here's sort of multiple offers?
The only time I do a solo email is the last night. I'll do a second email that says, courtesy reminder, this is going away tonight or tomorrow. And then I'll do a solo email. And they're very effective. But there's also that deadline there that makes it very effective. But that's the only time I'll do a solo email. Now I do adjust, the order of everything. I move things up as they come closer. So it's not just a list that has no rhyme or reason to it.
Sure. Well, a lot of great takeaways in that. And look, a mentor of mine once told me results don't lie. So if you tell me that you're topping leaderboards by having multiple offers in your email, which goes beyond what almost every internet marketing guru says,
I have screenshots.
So we have proof, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And I have seen your name even before I got to know you. I saw your name at the top of leaderboards. And, when I see leaderboards, I think to myself, these are people I need to get to know because obviously they have great reach, but what else do they have going on that's really special? And so I've had the honor of interviewing a few leaderboard toppers. And so,
it's not that the size of your list doesn't matter. Usually if someone has a list of 100,000 or more, I can't beat that person. Not likely. My list is closer to is around 10,000, but I can beat people whose lists are 20 to 50,000 because of the because I'm doing it more often.
Fantastic. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about too, because I know you're such a great person to collaborate with, and affiliate marketing is such a collaborative exercise to begin with. So, the theme of our show is creative collaboration, and we are encouraging business owners to think about how could I do more or do something better or faster or whatever it is in your business by collaborating with someone else. And, not only are you a great person to collaborate with, but I know you collaborate with others as well. So we do recommend that people reach out to you, and we're going to make sure that all your contact information is beneath the video and in the podcast show notes. And we have a gift for everybody a little bit later on. We're not going to spoil the surprise. I want you to listen to the end of this, but we do have something for you. But Ellen, I wanted to ask you, how has collaborating and partnering with others played a role or an impact in your business?
Say it's the foundation of my business. I really feel that, and I see this in my clients, they're afraid to reach out and they're afraid to partner and they just can't handle all of that. I've done all different kinds of partnerships. So what we call a freebie swap, I'll promote your free offer and you'll promote my free offer. Giveaways, summits, affiliate promotions we just talked about. I've done things like true joint ventures, like a collaborative masterclass or co-authoring a book. So I think almost anything, any way you could work with someone. And I love doing creative collaboration where let's create something new. Let's get together and 2 or 3 people and let's do a panel discussion about something, even a no selling panel discussion. We'll get people on our list that way, but we'll just talk about thought leadership in a certain area, whatever it is. So almost anything is going to grow your list, grow your profits, and it's, at least I think it's fun. I think it's a lot more fun to work with other people than to always work alone.
Oh, absolutely. Well, along those lines, you just said like you can have more than one person come together and do something amazing. Just this 2 days ago, I was part of a summit where I collaborated with 2 other co-hosts. We put 500 plus more people on our list and gave a platform for 56 speakers in an 8-hour period, which was a whirlwind. Yeah, it was a lot. It was my first summit experience. It was very challenging. It was like doing interviews like this, but I had to do 11 of them back to back in a row. It was,
oh my goodness. Okay.
We'll plan it differently next time, but it was, very interesting just by putting it out there that we were open to that collaboration. First of all, having that collaboration with 2 co-hosts and then the collaboration with all the speakers and everything. It was pretty amazing to do that. So what do you look for in a collaboration? What are some of your favorite, maybe types of partnerships, and then what do you look for in a collaborator?
In terms of types of partnerships, just the ones that I mentioned. So freebie swaps and affiliate marketing and some giveaways, summits, and those kind of real joint venture things where you're creating something new with someone. So I guess everything. What I look for in a partner is, first of all, they're going to be helping the same target market that I am. So whatever we have, we're helping the same people. And there's an audience there that would want to hear from both of us or all of us or whatever it is. And just that the person has I always look for my subscribers. Are they going to find this valuable? And so there are definitely things that I won't promote or don't like promoting. I've had experiences where I promoted somebody and discovered afterwards in the middle of the launch that what they were doing hadn't been clear to me, and I felt a little uncomfortable. I often feel uncomfortable, just for example, this is going to make an enemy out of me for some people, but promoting kind of woo-woo people, energy healers or something like that. And it's not that I think they're bad people. I don't think they're trying to cheat people or anything, but I have no way of evaluating what they're doing. And so for me to recommend them, I just don't know their work. Whereas when somebody's giving something a little bit more informational or whatever it is, I can see what they're offering and I know that I can recommend it. So I'm just looking for somebody that I feel I know is going to have useful information for my subscribers.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And, and I think it has to resonate with you. It has to resonate with your target audience. And if it doesn't do either of those things, how is it really serving anyone? That person may very well want the promotion, but if you are not feeling it and your list is not feeling it, then it's not going to benefit anyone. That I think it's good to have that kind of clear line. Here's the stuff that works. Here's the stuff I like to promote. Here's the stuff that doesn't really work for me. And it just makes it so much easier in my mind, as you and I collaborate on more things. What do we talk about? what kind of offers do we even consider? So it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's really good to do that. And I hope that everyone listening in hears that as well. I mean, you don't have to say yes to everything.
Right.
So So the one of the follow-up questions I want to ask to that. So when you're looking for opportunities or collaborations, what is your go-to source or go-to method for finding new collaborations?
So, because I do well on leaderboards, people often do come to me. Once you have a reputation for doing well, people will come to you. You mentioned we're in this mastermind together, and that's a great source. If I'm in a giveaway or in a summit, I speak on a summit. So the other people that are speaking it's a great source for finding partners. So you just see who's out there who's already partnering.
I love that. So to unpack a tip here, and you heard it here first, because I know it hasn't been on any of our other episodes, watch the leaderboards. Watch the leaderboards, because there's some really great collaborators on there as well.
I do want to say something else for people who are in unusual niches. So I have a client, she's a nurse practitioner, and she trains, she gives courses that give CEU units for nurses to keep their license. And she's having a hard time finding people to collaborate with because it's fairly specific. And I said, there are a lot of nurse entrepreneurs out there. There really are. And you have to find them. So put the word out. And if they're not organized and they're not collaborating with each other, create your own group. Create, the nurse entrepreneur networking group or entrepreneur group or mastermind or whatever it is. And you can create a group based on what you need, and that can be really, really valuable.
That is such a great tip for anyone out here who's looking for collaborations or even to grow their network and generate leads and all of that. Starting your own group is a great thing to do. It's one of the reasons I started this podcast. It's a group of people who've been my guests on the show, and a relationship gets started. And
absolutely.
And so there's lots of different ways that you can create groups, but I think that's a great idea. And you don't have to go this alone, right? You really don't. I mean, what are your thoughts on that as well? I mean, versus, you hear this all the time, solopreneur, I'm a solopreneur at this or whatever. I don't think anybody really accomplishes anything significant alone, or even really does everything alone. What are your thoughts on that?
So there are two sides to that. People might think that it has to do with like outsourcing, having an assistant or something. But in terms of partnering, it's extremely hard to get the word out on your own. So you're either going, you can use ads, but that can be very expensive, or you can use social media, and that just can be a real grind over and over again. And it's hard to get traction sometimes. Some people do, but it can be hard. And you can partner. And with partners, it's not only that you have other people sending their people to you, but you're getting the trust because they're recommending. It's like a referral. And so it's what we call a warm lead as opposed to a cold lead. And so it's just becomes very effective. And I feel that everyone should be looking all the time to create these partnership relationships. I mean, sometimes you have to manage the relationships. You have to maybe keep a CRM for relationships or keep track of them. It's not always that. I sometimes get a little overwhelmed with all the things I have to keep track of, but I would never not do it because I know my business would be half of what it is.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Well, we're almost out of time, but I want to ask you two important things. One is, I did tell everybody that we do have a free gift for you, which I'm still not going to tell you about. You got to wait till the end. But one question, Ellen, that I ask of all my guests, because I'm a reader, and so much of the learning that I've done in the 30 years of being a business owner has come from books. So I'm always curious on what people's go-to must-read book is. So, what would you say your must-read book is?
So I came up with this little book, and I really mean literally, it's a little book called The End of Procrastination by Petr Ludwig, and Peter is spelled P-E-T-R. And I just loved it. First of all, it has lots of little diagrams in it, and I have lots of notes. I've written lots of things. I have these little stick-it markers all over the place. And it's really about the fact that procrastination isn't about lack of willpower, but it's really about knowing what you really want to do, what your core values are, and what excites you, and that then finding ways to create good habits by making them easier to do. There's a lot of research on this, actually, and then making the tasks meaningful to you. So it's kind of like you get excited about it because this is what you've chosen to do. And so then you do it, as opposed to the kind of drudgery that we don't want to do. And that's how you get rid of procrastination.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's the difference between doing a podcast interview, which I love, and I could do this all day long, versus posting on social media. Not my favorite thing to do. Exactly. We do it out of necessity. Not my favorite. I could do podcast interviews all day, every day. and I think, fun. Yeah, and they get done because I love them. And so I love that when you make it something that, really connects with you, you're going to get it done. And, I think I heard the word clarity, and you getting clear, right? So you have to have some clarity, with what that is. So that's a great book. You know what fascinates me about that question, Ellen, is that there's been very, very little duplication in terms of what the recommended book is. We've had a few like Think and Grow Rich and, those kind of books, not as often as you'd think, but we've had a few on those. I've never heard of this book before, so I am going to check that out.
Check that. It's a little old, and I'm not positive it's still in print, but I really liked it.
Well, we'll go looking for it. One of especially with the older books that are not in print anymore and that are in Creative Commons, I have found Master Key Society has a lot of republishing that they've done, sometimes being read as audiobooks on YouTube. So we'll go find that. And if you're listening to this, hopefully we did find it. We'll put a link to it beneath the video and in the show notes there. So. Excellent. Well, great recommendation. I love that. Okay. So I don't want to keep everyone in suspense any longer. We did tease a couple of times that you have a free gift for everybody. Tell everybody what that is.
So I have a freebie that's called 10 Techniques for Better Results from Your Emails. And it's all about some of the things that we talked about, but some of them, there are a couple of technical things, but just a variety of different things that you can do to get more clicks, more opens, more results from your emails. And it's also about getting more engagement, getting people to stay on your list, that all of those kinds of things that really create that relationship. I believe email is about educating and inspiring people. So there are things that you can do that accomplish that. And that's the basis of how you get better results.
Fantastic. Well, Again, we'll put a link right beneath this video. So go and grab that from Ellen right now. The link is right beneath this video. If you're listening to this on a podcast, in the player on your phone is going to be the show notes. That link is right there as well. And do it now because, we already said that we talked about procrastination, right? And so when you get clear, what's the clarity? Okay, the link is right there. Go click it now. Why? Because it's going to benefit you in your business. And it's also going to connect you to Ellen, which we really, really want you to do. So if anything that we've talked about here today has resonated with you, here is an amazing person to collaborate with and to connect with. And so, Ellen, thank you so much for being here and being my guest here today. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And, to sign off, if you had any final words of wisdom or final advice for everyone, what would you say to them?
I would say that you do well in business by focusing on what you can give people. It's not that you're not going to charge money, but that your goal is to help people and inspire people and educate people. And of course, you can charge money for what you do. But if that's the goal, then I think people will appreciate it. You'll do well with it.
Excellent words to end this episode by. Ellen, thank you. To our audience, thank you as well. And look, you might be just one partnership or creative collaboration away from that big business success that you're working towards. So in the meantime, keep moving forward. This has been Chuck Anderson with the Creative Collaboration Show and my guest, Ellen Finkelstein. We will see you on the next one, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. you.